Book name is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and total chapters are, I think, 14 chapters I have noted. First of all, introduction, chapter 1 desire, chapter 2 faith, chapter 3 autosuggestion, chapter 4 specialized knowledge, chapter 5 imagination, chapter 6 organized planning, chapter 7 decision, chapter 8 persistent, chapter 9 power of the mastermind, chapter 10 mastery of sex transmutation, chapter 11 subconscious mind, chapter 12 the brain, chapter 13 the sixth sense, chapter 13 the sixth sense, chapter 14 how to outfit the sixth ghost of fear. How to outfit the six ghost of fear. Okay, today we will complete author's preface and introduction. Up to page number 1 to page number 19. Okay, done. Let's start. Author's preface. Okay, fine. In every chapter, in every chapter of this book, mention has been made of the money making secret which has made fortunes for more than 500 exceedingly wealthy men whom I have carefully analyzed over a long period of years. Secret was brought to my attention by Andrew Carnegie more than a quarter of a century ago. The canny, lovable old Scotsman carelessly tossed it into my mind when I was but a boy. Then he sat back in his chair with a merry twinkle in his eyes and watched carefully to see if I had brains enough to understand the full significance of what he had said to me. When he saw that I had grasped the idea, he asked if I would be willing to spend 20 years or more preparing myself to take it to the world, to men and women who, without the secret, might go through life as failures. I said I would, and with Mr. Carnegie's cooperation, I have kept my promise. This book contains the secret. After having been put to a practical test by thousands of people in almost every walk of life. It was Mr. Carnegie's idea that the magic formula, which gave him a stupendous fortune, ought to be placed within reach of people who do not have time to investigate how men make money. And it was his hope that I might test and demonstrate the soundness of the formula through the experience of men and women in every calling. He believed the formula should be taught in all public school and college, and expendized it brought him an income of upward dollar 75,000 a year. Arthur Nash, a Cincinnati's tailor, used his near bankrupt business as a guinea pig on which to test the formula. The business came to life and made a fortune for its owner. It is still thriving, although Mr. Nash has gone. Experiment was so unique that newspaper and magazines gave it more than $1 million worth of laundry publicity. Secret was passed on to Stuart Ashton Wears of Dallas, Texas. He was ready for it, so ready that he gave up his profession and studied law. Did he succeed? That story is told too. I gave the secret to Jenny Randall the day he graduated from college, and he has used it to successfully that he is now serving his third term as a member of Congress with an excellent opportunity to keep on using it until it carries him to the White House. While serving as advertising manager of the La Salle Extension University, when it was little more than a name, I had the privilege of seeing JP, chaplain president of the university, use the formula so effectively that he has since made the La Salle one of the greatest extension school of the country. Secret to which I refer has been mentioned no fewer than 100 times throughout this book. It has not been. What? It has not been directly named, for it seems to work more successfully when it merely uncovered and left inside, where those who are ready and searching for it may pick it up. That is why Mr. Carnegie tossed it to me so quietly without giving me its specific name. Those who are ready and searching for it may pick it up. Okay. If you are ready to put it to use, you will recognize this secret at least once in every chapter. What? If you are ready to put it to use, you will recognize this secret at least once in every chapter. Okay. I wish I might feel privileged to tell you how you will know if you are ready, but that would deprive you of much of the benefit you will receive when you make the discovery in your own way. While this book was being written, my own son, who was then finishing the last year of his college work, picked up the manuscript of chapter 2, read it, and discovered the secret for himself. He used the information so effectively that he went directly into a responsible position at a beginning salary greater than the average man ever earns. His story has been briefly described in chapter 2. When you read it, perhaps you will dismiss any feeling you may have had at the beginning of the book that it promised too much. And two, if you have ever been discouraged, if you have had difficulties to surmount which took the very soul out of you, if you have tried and failed, if you were ever handicapped by illness or physical affliction, this story of my son's discovery and use of the Carnegie formula may prove to be the oasis in the desert of last hope for which you have been searching. This secret was extensively used by President Woodrow Wilson during the World War. It was passed on to every soldier who fought in the war, carefully wrapped in the training received before going to the front. President Wilson told me it was a strong factor in raising the funds needed for the war. Carefully wrapped in the training received before going to the front. Carefully wrapped in the training received before going to the into the front. Okay. More than 20 years ago, Juan Manuel Alquizan, then resident commissioner of Philippe Island, was inspired by the secret to gain freedom for his people. He has gained freedom for the Philippines and is the first president of the Free State. A peculiar thing about this secret is that those who once acquire it and use it find themselves literally swept on to success with but little effort, and they never again submit to failure. What? Find themselves literally swept on to success. With but little effort, they will never again submit to failure. If you doubt this, study the names of those who have used it. Wherever they have been mentioned, check their records for yourself and be convinced. There is no such thing as something for nothing. Secret to which I refer cannot be had without a price, although the price is far less than its value. It cannot be had at any price by those who are not intentionally searching for it. It cannot be given away. It cannot be purchased for money for the reason that it comes in two parts. One part is already in possession of those who are ready for it. The secret serves equally well all who are ready for it. Education has nothing to do with it. Long before I was born, the secret had found its way into possession of Alpha Edition, and he used it so intelligently that he became the world's leading inventor, although he had but 3 months of schooling. Secret was passed on to a business associate of Mr. Edison. He used it so effectively that although he was then making only $12,000 per year, he accumulated a great fortune and retired from active business while still a young man. You will find his story at the beginning of the first chapter. It should convince you that riches are not beyond your reach, that you can still be what you wish to be, that money, fame, recognition, and happiness can be had by all who are ready and determined to have these blessings. How do I know these things? You should have the answer before you finish this book. You may find it in very first chapter or on the last page. While I was performing the 20-year task of research, which I had undertaken at Mr. Carnegie's request, I analyzed hundreds of well known men, many of whom admitted that they had accumulated their vast fortunes through the aid of Carnegie's secret. Among these men were Henry Ford, William Brigley Jr., Johann Wanamaker, James J. Hill, George S. Parker, E. M. Statler, Henry L. Doherty, Cyrus, oh sorry, James J. Hill, George S. Parker, E. M. Statler, Henry L. Doherty, Cyrus H. K. Curtis, George Eastman, Theodore Roosevelt, John W. Davis, Albert Hubbard, Wilbur Wright, William Jennings Bryan, Dr. David Starr Jordan, J. Orgen Armour, Charles M. Savag, Harris F. Williams, Dr. Frank Gonsalves, Daniel Willard, John D. Rockefeller, Thomas Alva Edison, Frank A. Vanderlip, F. W. Woolworth, Cole Robert A. Dollar, Edward A. Fennelly, Edwin C. Barnes, Arthur Brinson, Woodrow Wilson, W. Howard Taft, Luther Burbank, Edward W. Bok, Frank A. Munsey, Albert H. Gary, Clarence Darrow, John H. Patterson, Julia Rosenwald, Stuart Ashton Weir, Dr. Frank Crane, George M. Alexander. Last few names are King Gillette, Ralph A. Weeks, Judge Daniel T. Wright, Dr. Alexander Graham Bell, J.P. Chaplin, Hon Jennings Randolph, Arthur Nash. Okay. These names represent but a small fraction of the hundreds of well known Americans whose achievements, financially and otherwise, prove that those who understand and apply the Carnegie secret reach high station in life. I have never known anyone who was inspired to use the secret who did not achieve noteworthy success in his chosen calling. I have never known any person to distinguish himself or to accumulate riches of any consequence without possession of the secret. From these two facts, I draw the conclusion that the secret is more important. Secret is more important as a part of the knowledge essential for the self determination than any which one receives through what is popularly known as education. What is education anyway? This has been answered in full detail. As far as schooling is concerned, many of these men had very little. John Wanamaker once told me that what little schooling he had, he acquired in very much the same manner as a modern locomotive takes on water by scooping it up as it runs. Henry Ford never reached high school, let alone college. I am not attempting to minimize the value of schooling, but I am trying to express My earnest belief that those who master and apply the secret will reach high station and accumulate riches and bargain with life on their own terms, even if their schooling has been meager. Somewhere, as you read, the secret to which I refer will jump from the page and stand boldly before you. If you are ready for it, when it appears, you will recognize it. Sorry. If you are ready for it, when it appears, you will recognize it. Whether you receive the sign in the first or the last chapter, stop for a moment when it presents itself and turn down a glass, for that occasion will mark the most important turning point of your life. We pass now to chapter 1 and to story of my very dear friend who has generously, generously acknowledged having seen the mystic sign and whose business achievements are evidence enough that he turned down a glass. As you read his story, and the others, remember that they deal with the important problem of life, such as all men experience the problems arising from one's endeavor to earn a living, to find hope, courage, contentment, and peace of mind, to accumulate riches, and to enjoy freedom of body and spirit. Remember too, as you go through the book, that it deals with fact and not with fiction, its purpose being to convey a great universal truth through which all who are ready may learn not only what to do but also how to do it and receive as well the needed stimulus to make a start. As a final word of preparation before you begin the first chapter, may I offer one brief suggestion which may provide a clue by which the Carnegie secret may be recognized. It is this: all achievements, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. All achievement, all earned riches have their beginning in an idea. If you are ready for the secret, you already possesses one half of it. Therefore, you will readily recognize the other half of the moment it reaches your mind. Napoleon Hill. Done. Okay.